the breaking news coming in. It's a big relief for Indian nurse in Yemen, Nimisha Priya. The latest that we are getting, Supreme Court was informed today that the execution of 36-year-old Indian nurse Nimisha Priya has been stayed and nothing adverse is going to happen from here on. The court was hearing a plea to save Nimisha Priya by the Save Nimisha Priya Action Council, a citizen-led campaign advocating for her release, which was sought as per the direction of the union government to take diplomatic efforts to stop the execution. The execution, we now know, has now been stalled. Attorney General R. Venkataramani told the bench that a new mediator has stepped in and the matter has now been listed for hearing in January of 2026 with the option for early listing as well. Now, Nimisha Priya's execution was earlier scheduled for 16th of July, but on 15th of July, a day before, the Yemeni authorities postponed the execution and did not announce any fresh date. Now, the latest development comes a day after union government told the Indian Supreme Court that it cannot do much more to prevent the execution. Now, remember, the Indian nurse from Kerala was convicted in 2017 and she is not going to be executed. The Supreme Court was informed that the execution has now been stayed. My colleague Vivek joining us with more details. Vivek, a big relief there for the parents and well-wishers of Nimisha Priya.
Yeah, absolutely. It's indeed a major relief for Nimisha Priya's family, especially her mother, husband and her daughter, who's been waiting here in Kerala with bated breath as far as the court verdicts in Yemen is concerned. Remember, this has been a very long-awaited legal battle, but there are a lot of miscommunications and a lot of legal confrontations, legal issues as far as this matter is concerned. But today, the Attorney General R. Venkataramani has informed the two-bench judge of the Supreme Court that her execution has been stayed as of now, and thankfully a new mediator has come into picture who will be initiating the discussions between the central government and also and the Yemeni government. And remember, in this particular case, the petitioner is Save Nimisha Priya Council International, which is a forum for the last 4 years who have been fighting for this particular case. We know that Nimisha Priya's mother and also the earlier petitioner, the earlier mediator had approached the officials, the local province leaders out there. But the brother of the Yemeni citizen who has died has been very firm as far as this matter is concerned. He has been saying that nothing short of execution is possible as far as this case is concerned because it's his brother and he believes that it was a cold-blooded murder. But
Vivek, I have to ask you then, in that case, what's the road ahead from here?
Yes, from the road ahead from here is nothing but diplomatic discussions between the central government and the Yemenis officials. How far this discussion will go on, and what will be the outcome of this particular meeting? Whether the family of the person who was murdered, the victim as far as this case is concerned, whether the family will somehow manage to come back or to at least agree to the terms put forward by the central government and the family of Nimisha Priya, whether they will forgive Nimisha Priya. It is based on that the entire case is going to lie, because there are two versions of this. One is that the local government in Yemen is they are okay with forgiving Nimisha Priya and ensuring that execution does not happen. But a family, especially very near person, very near family members of the victim are, they are very particular that the execution should happen. So there is a difference of opinion within the family and the government, the local professional officials. So that is the reason why this entire matter is getting delayed and delayed. Even though her mother was trying to approach the family members, till now they were not ready to, give a proper reply. But
Right.
as you said, that what is a step forward? It is discussions, and if the government is ready to accept the terms, the family is ready to accept the terms, and in that case, yes, it will be a relief for the family and
All right.
Nimisha Priya's
Absolutely.
release.
Needless to say that, but would it be fair to say that the victim's family so far has refused any mediation? They have refused the offer of blood money. They're not willing to talk to the family members of Nimisha Priya. So the chances, therefore, of them succumbing now are thin. The only option perhaps available is diplomatic channels.
Absolutely. It is the only diplomatic channels, that can happen at this point of time, because we know a senior cleric from Kerala has, tried to intervene in this matter. He tried to persuade the family, but the family was not willing. Even though he tried to persuade the Sunni cleric in Yemen, but the family of the victim was not ready to. But here, the central government is directly taking this initiative at this point of time with the help of the new mediator, we still don't know who that mediator is, but that mediator will be taking forward the discussions with the family. If that works out, with the blood money, if they are ready to accept, if all these things come together, and if the brother of the victim agrees to, then it is a good news for the family and a huge relief for Nimisha Priya, her mother, husband and daughter.
All right, a big relief there. The Supreme Court was informed today that the execution of Nimisha Priya has now been stayed and nothing adverse is likely to happen. The court, of course, was hearing a plea by the Save Nimisha Priya Action Council, a citizen-led campaign advocating for her release, and it sought the direction from Union government to take diplomatic efforts to stop the execution. Our Attorney General, as my colleague was pointing out, told the bench that a new mediator has stepped in and the matter has been listed now for January of 2026. So up until January at least, the needle on Nimisha Priya will not move. She is safe in the interim. Now, remember, there is a call to save Nimisha Priya, not just by family members, but also by citizen groups who have been rallying behind the government efforts to ensure that she is brought back to India. The Indian nurse was convicted in 2017 for murdering her Yemeni businessman and was sentenced to death in 2020 with a final appeal rejected in 2023. And since then, diplomatic efforts, including negotiations by her mother and the possibility of blood money under Sharia law, are also ongoing to secure her release. Thank you very much, Vivek, for all those details. And story now coming to light from Karnataka. Congress leader Priyank Kharge has hit out at Rajya Sabha MP Sudha Murty for reported remarks on caste census. Kharge said that it was surprising that a member of the parliament made such a statement, adding that the caste census is a government initiative and participation in it is not optional. He further remarked that Sudha Murty appears to be inspired by other BJP leaders and that saying she would not take part in the survey was not right.
Initiative. First of all, it's a survey which includes a lot of other information also. It is surprising that a member of parliament says such things. Obviously, I think it is an inspiration from other BJP leaders or the court direction saying it is voluntary. But more is expected of people like them because they've inspired a lot of generations and they continue to do so. But saying that I will not participate in a government survey is not good. You could have refused to answer a few questions at the most. But giving it in writing, I don't think it's in good.
Her line says it's a part of the backward class.
So the survey is only to understand the socio-economic and education conditions of people of Karnataka. No, if you are getting 3 meals a day, it is not for you, definitely. But we would have loved to know the socio-economic conditions of everyone. Right?
Now, Infosys founder Narayan Murthy and his wife, in fact, author Sudha Murty, have declined to participate in the ongoing social and educational caste survey, which is being carried out by the Backward Classes Commission in the state of Karnataka. In a written response to the commission, Murthys said that they do not belong to any backward community and therefore do not wish to take part in the government-led caste enumeration exercise. Their letter states, and I quote, "Since this survey has no relevance to us and will not serve any useful purpose for the government, we are opting out," unquote. The survey, ordered by Karnataka government, seeks to gather details of caste-based and socio-economic data points across the state, a move that has triggered political and social debate. Industry veteran Mohandas Pai backed the decision of Murthys on X, criticizing the government for focusing on caste surveys and appeasement rather than growth, development and high-paying jobs, and warning that such policies take the state backward. Murthy's decision not to participate has now ignited another conversation, with some questioning whether such surveys should be universal or limited to certain categories? Should they be optional or mandatory? And while others argue that citizens' data is crucial to build an accurate social picture. Moving on now, in view of Sri Lankan Prime Minister Harini Amarasuriya's 3-day visit to India, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin wrote to Prime Minister Modi urging him to raise concerns with his Sri Lankan counterpart. He urged PM Modi to discuss the challenges faced by Indian fishermen in the Palk Bay and to seek an early and lasting resolution through sustained diplomatic efforts. In his letter, Stalin said that the fishing communities of Tamil Nadu continue to face significant hardships due to recurring instances of harassment, attacks and arrests led by Sri Lankan Navy. Now, since 2021, a total of 1,482 fishermen, about 198 fishing boats have now been apprehended in about 106 separate instances, causing distress and economic loss to these communities, especially from the Tamil Nadu farming community. He said the Tamil Nadu government has consistently sought intervention of Government of India to address these issues through diplomatic channels, and has also raised the matter with Prime Minister's office on at least 11 occasions and made 72 representations to the Ministry of External Affairs. However, these incidents continue to occur unabated. He urged Prime Minister Modi to discuss with Sri Lankan Prime Minister the retrieval of the Katchatheevu Island, the immediate release of all fishermen, their boats, and steps to address instances of violence and theft at sea, the impact of nationalization of seized fishing boats, and the revitalization of the Joint Working Group on Fisheries. Further, Stalin said the Tamil Nadu fishermen have traditionally fished in the water surrounding the island, which was historically part of India. The island was transferred to Sri Lanka by the Union government without obtaining states' consent and without following due process, a decision consistently opposed by Tamil Nadu government and its assembly since 1974. As a result, the fishermen now face restricted access to their traditional fishing grounds and frequent harassment on charges of trespassing. All right, Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu writing to Prime Minister, asking Prime Minister Modi to take up the matter of Tamil Nadu fishermen with his Sri Lankan counterpart Harini Amarasuriya, who's on a 3-day visit to India. Another Gen Z protest has erupted now, this time in Peru. Tensions are flaring in Peru's capital, Lima, as police clashed with demonstrators protesting against newly sworn-in interim President José Jeri. Less than a week after he took office, amid a sudden political upheaval, Peru is once again on the edge. Riot police in Lima fired tear gas to disperse hundreds of protesters who tried to storm the Congress building, the first major show of dissent since the newly elected president assumed office. Crowds gathered near the Legislative Palace, tearing down security barriers and setting flags ablaze before being pushed back by the police. The protests erupted just 6 days after President Dina Boluarte was ousted and replaced by Jeri, who was next in line as head of the Congress. Demonstrators accused the political class of corruption and demanded sweeping reforms, including a new constitution, tougher measures against crime. The unrest wasn't limited to Lima. Similar rallies were also reported in other cities, although without major violence. Now, adding to the anger, José himself has faced past allegations of sexual assault from a 2024 party instance. Although the case was dropped in August this year for lack of evidence, many Peruvians remain unconvinced. Some protesters even chanted insults, calling him violin, a Spanish slang implying a rapist. And as the tear gas cleared, one message rang loud and clear: Peru's streets remain restless, and the new president's leadership is under fire. Standing firm on its grounds, India has once again responded to Donald Trump's claim that New Delhi has assured him about curbing its oil imports from Russia. Responding to the claim, Ministry of External Affairs has now released a statement saying that India is a significant importer of oil and gas and its priority is to safeguard the interests of its people, the Indian consumers. The statement further reads, and I quote, "Where the US is concerned, the current administration has shown interest in deepening energy cooperation with India. Discussions are ongoing on the same," unquote. Now, US President Donald Trump had earlier asserted that India's actions in his pushback to isolate Moscow over the war in Ukraine have not rendered any impact on the Russian economy, and Indian government Prime Minister Modi specifically has now promised him that they will cut down and curb Russian oil imports.
We have a great relationship. No, we were not happy with him buying oil from Russia because that lets Russia continue on with this ridiculous war where they've lost 1.5 million people, by the way. Russia's lost 1.5 million people, soldiers mostly. This is a war that should have never started, but it's a war that Russia should have won in the first week, and they're going into the 4th year. And I want to see it stop. So I was not happy that India was buying oil. And he assured me today that they will not be buying oil from Russia. That's a big stop. Now I got to get China to do the same thing. You know, that is relatively easy compared to what we just did over the last week in the Middle East. Middle East was 3,000 years, and we got it done. This is 3 years. And I think we'll get it done. I think that President Putin, I think he wants to get it done. We'll see. There's a great animosity between him and Zelensky. You probably have noticed, right? And I think it's hurting the process. Yeah.
Now, further, Donald Trump said that India could not immediately halt shipments, calling it a little bit of a process, but that process will soon be over.
He's a great man, you know. Modi is a great man. That he loves Trump. Now, I don't know if the word love, I don't want you to take that any different. I don't want to destroy his political career, okay? But you have to understand, I've watched India for years. It's an incredible country. And every single year you'd have a new leader. I mean, some would be in there for a few months. And this was year after year after year. And my friend has been there now for a long time, and he is. And he's assured me there will be no oil purchased from Russia. I don't know, maybe that's a breaking story. Can I say that? Would you say? There will be no oil. He's not buying his oil from Russia. It started. You know, you can't do it immediately. It's a little bit of a process. But the process is going to be over with soon.
The latest claims, Donald Trump has also called India a reliable partner and Prime Minister Modi a friend with whom he shares a great relationship. This comes as Trump's latest salvo has raised political temperatures here in India. Hours after Donald Trump made his claims regarding oil imports, Congress MP Rahul Gandhi has also accused him and Prime Minister Modi of giving in to Donald Trump. And breaking news coming in on the show, all Gujarat ministers except Chief Minister have now resigned ahead of cabinet expansion. Ahead of the state cabinet expansion, a total of 16 ministers of the Gujarat cabinet, except for the Chief Minister himself, submitted their resignation in a meeting led by Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel on Thursday. It was announced that the swearing-in ceremony for the new expanded cabinet is scheduled to be held at the Mahatma Mandir on Friday at 11:30, and immediately after that ceremony, the first meeting of the new cabinet will be held under the leadership of Chief Minister. Amid this major political shift, BJP has once again implemented its no-repeat formula since it has done so in the past, similar to 2021, including the appointment of Deputy Chief Minister. So breaking news, of course, coming in there as far as Gujarat is concerned. Chief Minister, except for Chief Minister, in fact, all ministers and all of the cabinet has now resigned. My colleague Brijesh Pandey joining us from the newsroom. Brijesh, frequent reshuffles there as far as Gujarat cabinet is concerned.
Well, absolutely. And, the fact is that, Gujarat, BJP has been in power in Gujarat for almost 26, 27 years now. And one of the big reasons why they have been able to stay in power is something which, the late the former Chief Minister and now the currently Prime Minister Narendra Modi had figured out, which is that every single election they would remove tickets they will not give tickets to 30 MLAs, thereby blunting the anti-incumbency. One of the key gigs which they have perfected also in the last two governments is that the en masse resignation of the entire cabinet and get a new band of leaders to replace them as the new cabinet. The government feels, the party feels that by doing this, they are able to get rid of anti-incumbency vote, and this is the reason why they have been able to govern the state, to rule the state for such a long time. What we have been given to understand by our sources is that tomorrow at 11:30, the new cabinet expansion will take place. The new cabinet is going to be sworn in. One of the key likelihood is that Harsh Sanghvi, who is the MOS state, as far as the Ministry of Home is concerned, is likely to be elevated to the post of a cabinet minister. And apart from that, Arjun Modwadia, who was a Congress leader and recently joined BJP, is also likely to find place in the new cabinet.
All right, so a lot of new names there as far as the new cabinet is concerned, an attempt being made by the government in Gujarat to minimize the impact of anti-incumbency. In your assessment, Brijesh, what are the big faces that are likely to make their foray into the cabinet tomorrow?
Well, not many names are given right now as to, who will make the cabinet. But what we have been given to understand is that, that the names which are doing the round is one of the key names is Arjun Modwadia, who is a Congress leader, and he has joined BJP just before the election. What we have been also given to understand is that that Harsh Sanghvi, who is a firebrand Home Minister of Gujarat, is likely to find place in cabinet. And these are the two names which are doing the round. What we are also getting is that the new composition may include 6 Patidar leaders. The new cabinet is likely to include 23 ministers, and with the party is planning for a balanced representation of experienced youth and women legislator. What we have been also given to understand is that the composition is likely to include 6 Patidars leaders, the Patels, the 4 Lewa Patel and 2 Kedwa Patel, and apart from that, 4 OBC MLAs from Thakur and Koli community, 2 from SC and 2 from ST, and 2 Brahmins and 2 Chhatris, apart from 4 women MLAs are likely to be inducted in this cabinet, which is going to take place tomorrow at 11:30.
Right, very interesting there. It's a complex combination, Brijesh, of caste, community, women, youth. Basically the government there, of course, trying to ensure maximum representation of any possible caste, community, creed that could likely help it win elections again.
Oh, absolutely. And I think, if you look at the combination, every single strata of society has been adhered to, they have been catered to, and by removing all the cabinet ministers and all the ministers in the government has very effectively blunted the anti-incumbency. So now the challenge before the new cabinet would be to work hard and make sure that that the party is able to perform its optimum for the party. The best thing is that that they have been able to blunt the anti-incumbency, and this is the reason why the Bharatiya Janata Party has been able to rule Gujarat for such a long time. In fact, ever since the Prime Minister has moved to centre, which is from 2014 onwards, the Gujarat model has been replicated as to not give at least 20.
Brijesh, stay with us. Priyank Chaturvedi, Shiv Sena Rajya Sabha MP, joining us on the show. Priyank Chaturvedi, your first reaction, ma'am. All except Chief Minister in the cabinet of Gujarat have now resigned as of this afternoon.
No, it clearly goes to show that an elected government which comes on the will of the people is being held to ransom by those who are in charge in Delhi. They will decide who continues to be the Chief Minister. They will decide who will be in the cabinet. They will decide who has to resign the next day. We've had in the instance in the past where Vijay Rupani ji and his entire cabinet was asked to resign, and they had a whole set of new people. So Gujarat has become a state which has been experimented with, which have been dealt with from Delhi ever since the Prime Minister and Amit Shah ji moved to Delhi. That they continue to work at the whims and fancy of what the centre chooses for them to do. Unfortunately, the will of the people is only to vote, after which they are at the mercy of the central government and the whims and fancies of the centre.
All right, so you're essentially saying that this is the central government pulling the strings?
This is not how democracies function, if I'm not mistaken. A cabinet can be decided by the Chief Minister, but when the Chief Minister himself is powerless, and the power structure is coming from Delhi and narratives are coming from Delhi.
I'm sure the state cabinet would disagree with you, ma'am. The Chief Minister would say that this is what he's hoping to do.
Chief Minister, because the Chief Minister is powerless, I'm sorry. He will, of course, disagree with me because he agrees with whatever the way he's being treated by the centre.
All right. But what about...
Any chief minister with a spine would say he has been elected into this position after his MLAs have chosen him there. He will decide how his cabinet should be. That is how democracies function, how elected democracies function.
All right. How about getting a representation in the cabinet, which is the prerogative of the cabinet and of the state government? He hopes to get more and more leaders who have not ruled up until now to become a part of the cabinet.
So those who are not part of the cabinet and who should be part of the cabinet, even if it's for experience, even if it's for exposure, even if it's for a change of, how governance should be, it should be the prerogative of the elected chief minister, not those who are asking them to step in and resign. Listen, Vijay Rupani ji was suddenly asked to resign. The entire cabinet had resigned and there was a new chief minister, entirely whole new cabinet. Okay. What has triggered another round of change where you'll make them look like puppets, where unfortunately the people of Gujarat will not have respect for their chief minister simply because they know he's just a puppet, he's just a dummy there, who's surviving because of the large-heartedness or small-heartedness of the centre.